All right, welcome back everyone. My name is Kathan, and today we'll be solving this question Coprime. Now, this is a number theory based question, and it actually has a very interesting idea that you should try to, you can say, apply when you encounter number theory related problems. I usually get a lot of comments regarding number theory problems and how to approach them. So maybe let's hope you get to learn something new out of this problem. Let me read out the question for you. We are given an array of n positive integers, a1, a2, so on till an. A1 belongs in range 1 to 1000. Okay. Very interestingly, it is only going till 1000. This is very important, right? So straight away my attention goes to this range. These numbers are in very less range, 1 to 1000. Okay, let's go on. Find the maximum value of I plus j such that ai and aj are coprime. Now, what is coprime? Coprime simply means the GCD is 1, right? In other words, the highest factor that they share is simply 1. Okay, at GCD, HCF, 1, the same thing. So what you want to do is you want to maximize the value of I plus j. That is, you want to maximize the sum of their positions. So you want to find a pair. You want to find a pair. I think GCD1 is blocking. Okay. You want to find a pair AIAJ such that I plus j is maximum and the GCD of AIAJ is 1. Right. So basically, you want to find such a pair. Across all such pairs, you tell me the maximum value of I plus j, the maximum position sum that you can achieve. Cool. So if you see here in the input, we are given what? So of course the test case input is there and all, but you have you can say n, the size of array, and integers. And interestingly, the size of n doesn't exceed 2 into 10 power 5. It automatically says you can have solutions which are like n log n or something like that. Okay. And for each test case, output a single integer, the maximum value of I plus j. So they don't ask for the number aiaj, they ask you the maximum value of I plus j such that ai and aj are coprime, right? Now, I guess you already know the brute force way, right? So what is the brute force way? You simply go through all the possible pairs, right? So you simply initialize your answer with -1. What if there are no pairs existing? Then you enumerate all the pairs. I guess you are very familiar with this loop if you watch videos on my channel. And then if this pair is GCD is 1, that is these two numbers are co-prime, right? Update the answer. So max of answer I plus j. Okay. And after this loop ends, you will get your answer. Cool, but of course, the time complexity of this is order of n square, which is not gonna work, right? So n you can consider somewhere in range 10 power 5. So this is not gonna work. So what are you gonna do? Let's see. Now let's go back to our observation that we made. We know that AI only belong to 1 to 1000. This is a very small range. Now, even if you model your time complexity around this number, this is what 10 power 3, right? Even if you do a sort of n square, you can say quadratic solution, it is simply 10 power 3 into 10 power 3, which is nothing but 10 power 6. So this gives you an idea. There is a pre-computation possible on this range. What type of pre-computation? What are we looking for? We are looking for co-prime pairs, right? The brute force was to basically enumerate all the possible order of n square pairs on a given array. This is not possible because n goes to 10 power 5. Fine. But the range of numbers that you have is simply 1 to 10 power 3. So you can enumerate all the pairs on this range, right? Because the loop that you write here for this range, for example, the loop it will be written like this, right? So for I equals to 1 to 1000, and then for j equals to uh, j equals to let's just take it from I only, I 2000. If GCD if GCD of ij is 1, GCD of ij is 1, that means these guys are coprime. Of course, guys, I start j from I because to take care of the case that if you have 1 with 1, it gives you a GCD of 1, right? And these type of pair is possible at separate indices. But okay, let's forget about that. But what I'm saying is, when you run a loop like this, then you can actually sort of run an order of n square loop on this range to enumerate. Maybe let's just say we have maintained a list of coprime pairs. I can simply add AI and AJ, right? But okay, what is the point of enumerating all the coprime pairs? The question is done and dusted. Can you see it? If you can see it, can you comment down in the comment section of the video right now? If not, I'll tell you. See, you have enumerated all the possible co-prime pairs. This might be what, like, I've calculated behind the scenes. This is somehow, this number turns out to be close to 3, 5 or something. But you don't need to know. You know that this number won't be very high. Okay, the number of co-prime pairs in this range is not more than some constant factor of 10 power 5. So this is interesting, right? Before even you can say going to the test cases, the number of co-prime pairs you know are not more than 10 power 5. So this, now what? Now you are looking to find, you can say, maximize I plus j for a given array. For a given array. Uh, for a given array of n integers, right? Now what do? Forget about this array. Just keep track of ai to its index, right? If I can just keep track of ai to its index, now what it remains to simply check is simply go through the co-prime pairs list. Simply go through the co-primes pair list, and and if you can find, let's say the current pair is some ab, and if you can find that there are some valid, let's say some index 1 and index 2 existing in your array, then you can update your answer, right? You can have answer here, right, which is initialized to -1 again. And here, if you can find you can say a co-prime pair such that their index exists in the array, right? So this you can maybe create a map or something like that, right? If indexes exist for these guys, you can update your answer, right? How do you update your answer? Answer will be simply answer max of answer and whatever this index 1 plus index 2 is. Okay. So this will be it then, right? Now you might be scratching your head. What about cases like this, Kathan? 1, 1. So in this case, 1 will only have one of the indices, right? So what are you going to do? Now this actually won't happen. Why? I'll tell you. These two will have some separate indices, right? Like 1, 2. Okay. So automatically what will happen is because ij need not be distinct in this case. So I noticed behind the scenes that ij need not be distinct. Okay, so there is nowhere mention here that ij have to be distinct. So even in this case, you can actually start from j equals to I. Okay, any which way, guys, the only number whose GCD with itself is 1 is simply 1. Right, so that's just the edge case for this one. So yeah, uh, so this won't create problem for 1, right? So that even if you have, let's say, multiple ones like this, we will take the contribution of the largest index. So in this case, your answer will be 2 plus 2, 4, right? So yeah, let's zoom out. I guess we are done with the question. The question said you had to find me two pair of numbers such that uh, yeah, I have to find two numbers ai aj such that I plus j is maximized, right? Of course, ai can equal to aj here. It's fine, but yeah. So how do you go about it? Now the normal order of n square enumeration wasn't working, but we quickly saw that the range of numbers is only in 1 to 10 power 3. So we may not be able to do a quadratic iteration on the array itself, but we can do the quadratic iteration on the range. So now we first enumerated all the co-prime pairs, and then for the array that we have, we created a map of numbers from array to their index. And now to get my answer, I can initialize my answer to -1. I can go through all the possible pairs. And if I have valid indices for a given pair in my array, my answers can be updated like this. Okay. What is the time complexity here? Can you quickly tell me? The time complexity will be 10 power 6 for initially going to the range of 10 power 3. And I guess I know the number of test cases. Fine. I know that the array size across all test cases doesn't go beyond 1e5. So I can have a, let's say, single test case where I'm given a 1e5 sized array. And in that array itself, I'm going through all the coprime pairs, which are something like 3e5. This is less than 10 power 8. And of course, there is some logarithmic complexity involved here, right? So into log of 10 power 5 for this map. But log of 10 power 5, maybe it can be taken like log 10 power 6 is nothing but 20, right? So this is still overall less than 10 power 8. So overall time complexity is less than 10 power 8. Now let's look at the code and wrap this one up. Okay, guys, let's see the code. The code will be pretty straightforward. I have to initialize this vector of pair of int for all the coprime pairs, then the maxin, which is I'm just keeping just higher than 1000. And first, I'll actually you can say enumerate all the coprime pairs. So I'll go from 0 till maxin. Of course, I have to start from 1, but I think this is GCD function handles it. So it won't. This should be actually 1, right? This should not be 0. I stand corrected. I from 1 till n, you have to go, and j equals to I till j less than maxin, and you just check if the GCD of ij is 1, you add it to your coprime pairs array, or you can say list. And for each test case, you take the array input. So first n is the size of the array, and we simply map all the array values to their possible positions, right? I to mp of val. So you can write a max of I mp of val, or you can simply write mp of val equals to I. They both are one the same thing, right? Why? Can you tell me in the comment section of the video quickly? Why it doesn't matter if I do max or not? It's pretty simple, right, guys? The later part will dominate anyway the older part, right? So if a number is appearing first here, let's say position 1 and position 10, the position 10 update will anyway dominate. So you don't need to write max here. And I initialize my answer to -1. I go through all the coprime pairs and I see if these guys exist in my list, right? If these guys exist in my list, I simply try to update my answer, and in the end, I can just print that. Cool. So that is the code part, and I have already submitted it, so it works. That was about this video, guys. I hope you got something out of this. More specifically, why the pre-computation idea was needed, and why you should maybe sometimes zoom out a bit on number theory related questions. Cool. I'll see you in the next one then.